Awesome. Hello, good morning. It's Friday morning. Marcus here, Aroma Time. We're going to talk about beer. So a lot of people are taught that beer does not age. And that's true to a big extent, very true to a big extent. But there are certain beers that age beautifully. This is a 2012 Three Philosophers. That's 8 years old. I have a 2011 here. I have a couple 2005 vintages too, and a 2006 vintages. So why does this beer age and other beers don't age? We're going to talk about that now. So tonight, the 13th, Friday the 13th, is Rare Beer Thursday. Sorry, Rare Beer Friday. Rare Beer Friday. Once a month, all winter, we've been going and taking some great beers out of our cellar like this. Vintage beers, older beers, barrel-aged beers, really cool beers that you can't find anymore, that they don't make anymore, that no longer exist. So we're taking these beers and we're pairing these beers up with a cheese plate. So you come in tonight and you get you order this regular price, and then you get a free local cheese plate with it. Tonight we're doing this awesome local cheese paired with a Riesling pear and apple jam. It's really going to be awesome. So Rare Beer Friday. Rare Beer Friday is tonight. Order any three of the vintage Three Philosophers and get a free cheese plate. Let's talk about now what makes beer ageable, because most beer is not ageable. Most beer you cannot age, and we're told this through advertising, through a lot of things. Just born on dates, fresh beer, fresh beer, fresh beer, fresh beer, fresh beer, fresh beer. Well, a beer like this, first of all, this is a quad or quadrupel. I'm going to read off the definition of a quadrupel. A quadrupel is a type of beer with an alcohol of 9.1 to 14%. 9 to 14%. Folks, that is a large amount of alcohol. It is a large amount of alcohol. This is a double beer. This is 25 ounces. Two of these is like 4 or 5 other beers. It's crazy. Let's see. A quadrupel is with alcohol. Okay, there is a little agreement on this. The status of okay. All right. So basically, quadrupel. Gee, where did my page go? I lost my page. I'm backing up my computer. So I have to go to the Apple Store here in a few minutes, and I lost my page. So let's see if I can get back here. So I can't. I lost it. Okay. Basically, a quadrupel is this beer that's 9 to 14%. It's Belgian in style. Le Trop or Koningshoven is the one who actually perfected this, made this style, brought this style to fame. This beer is American. It's Omegang. We don't stock any Omegang beers anymore. I'm going to tell that little story why we don't stock any Omegang beers. But so, folks, when you get beer that is high in alcohol, 9% or more, those beers are ageable. If they have hops in them, hops are not ageable. Hops are very volatile. So all of these IPAs do not age. Those very hoppy IPAs, pale ales, do not age at all. You want those as fresh as possible. Things like pilsners, lagers, freshness matters. Things like a brown ale, freshness doesn't matter as much. A brown ale is not going to age to the 5%, 6%. They're not going to age. They're not going to go the distance. You want to drink those semi-fresh. But beers that are high in alcohol will age beautifully. 9%, 10%, 11%. So brandy wine style ales will age immensely. Quadrupels, and even some of those Belgium doubles, Belgian triples, those blondes, those will age nice too. However, a quadrupel really ages awesome. Now, what happens when you go to, we have a lot of beers, if you see on our list, that are going back 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 8 years. A lot of those beers on our list are actually aged in barrels. So they age them in whiskey barrels or rum barrels, which adds a whole nother complexity to the beer, which adds to the aging. It boosts up the alcohol a little bit, and it gives us, in fact, if you were to get a brand new barrel-aged beer, a brand new whiskey cask finished beer, bourbon cask finished beer, and you open it up and it was a fresh beer and drank it, it'd probably be a little too sharp, a little too whiskey-like for you, and you probably wouldn't enjoy it. If you took that bottle actually needs a year to lay down. And we have tons of kegs that are like this. We have like 15 kegs that we're aging right now that fit that criteria. We have one keg on draft right now that's 2.5 years old, would age 2.5 years, and the beer's just transformed immensely through that aging process where it mellows it out. The whiskey's still there, but it's not that sharp whiskey. A lot of people drink whiskey aged beer, barrel aged beers, and like, I don't like this beer. This beer is not good. It's too much whiskey. That's why it's too fresh. You want barrel aged beers to actually age, settle down, have the whiskey fall off a little bit, and the complexity linger through. It's just like tannins in wine. You want to be able to age it and let all the flavors marry into each other. Some breweries will actually age their beers in barrels for 6 months, 9 months, even almost a full year. So those beers get really, really alcoholic. So my suggestion, if you're going to the store and you buy anything barrel aged, check the vintage. A lot of them will actually have the vintage on it, and then from there you can decide, buy a couple and just put them away and wait at least a year to be able to consume that. The reason we don't buy Ommegang beer, somebody want to know that reason why we don't buy? We used to buy a ton of Ommegang beer, like a ton of Ommegang beer. Simon, the CEO, the former CEO of Ommegang, used to introduce me to other people as Marcus is the man who has more Ommegang beer than Ommegang does in the actual brewery, because we would stockpile tons of Ommegang beer. This is why I have so many of these old past vintages. When every new vintage would come out, we would literally just buy 10 cases of them and, put 1 or 2 on our list and just age everything else. Just age. So we had this massive cellar of Ommegang beers. And so Simon, the CEO of Ommegang Duvel USA, would introduce me. We became friendly. He introduced me everybody. Marcus is the man who has more Ommegang beer than Ommegang has, meaning more different titles in my library. And so I thought I was in good with Simon. I thought I was like in really good with Simon and Ommegang. So I would go. They would pay for me and go do the muscle tussle up there. And it was. I had some really great experiences at Ommegang Brewery. Fantastic experiences. I was doing a contest in Albany, one of the muscle tussles, and Simon gravitated towards me at our table. I was the only chef not from Albany there. Every chef there competing was from Albany, and it was a crowd favorite. You had to vote that night, so it was a voting contest. So the Greg said beer cured the plague. I was actually going to make that as the title. So it's funny that Greg says that, because that was going to be my title of today, drink beer. So that's cool, Greg. Chris said, I like the Fin du Monde. Fin du Monde is awesome. The Fin du Monde is awesome. It is from Unibrew. The only problem with Unibrew now is they sold out a while back to Sapporo. And when I was going to Montreal my last time, a few years back, I actually messaged them. They used to have a sales rep in the area. Fantastic guy, took great care of us. They were independently owned, fantastic, amazing. And he unfortunately was killed in a car accident, and they never really replaced him. Sapporo took over. Sapporo bought, never replaced that person out in the field to face to face, do FaceTime with clients like myself, do that business to business. They never replaced. So I never had a good contact anymore. When he was alive, a great contact. When I went after that, I never had a contact. So I would email them, call them, and say, hey, I'm coming to Montreal. I want to take a tour, because they're outside of Montreal. And they basically said to me, we don't do tours. We don't do tours. Now, if the sales rep was alive, he would have definitely gotten us in, because, where we were a valued customer, bought tons of Le Fin du Monde, tons of their beers, all of their beers across the board. I had every single one in stock from Unibrew. And I said, see, this isn't personal anymore. Now that Sapporo owns it, you really can't talk to anyone. There's no rep anymore. That personal relationship is gone. And if Jamie and I are into relationship. We're into relationship building with our suppliers. And once that's gone, there's other people out there that are willing to build relationships with us, other local breweries, distilleries, wineries, and it's important to us. It's a major factor in our business, is knowing that we can go see a place, visit them, all that kind of stuff. And that's the way we do business. When I was at the food show this last week, one of the vendors, one of the farms, started telling me all this stuff, and I said, listen, I want to come visit. And she keeps going, and I was like, listen, I just want to come visit. I want to come visit. I want to meet the people there. I want to understand what's going on. That's what I want to do. I don't care about what you're telling me right now. I know that stuff. I can read the booth. I didn't say that in that many words, but I just want to come visit. And it's a place here in the Hudson Valley. It's like, I want to come visit. Let's schedule a visit. Spofellini, the pasta people were like, Marcus, come on, of course. Because they see how much I'm buying. They're like, this is the local pasta place in Coxsackie, just south of Albany. They're like, Marcus, of course come by. We'd be happy to show you what's going on. This and I'm like, that's how you do business.
You said,
folks.
can I video?
And then I said, can I video? And of course,
absolutely.
Of course you can video. Of course. They were like, yes, of course. This is Spofellini. I don't even know how to spell it. But they're a local pasta producer. They started in Brooklyn, then they moved to Coxsackie, and they're doing a ton of organic pastas, New York grains, amazing stuff. This stuff is pricey, but it's well worth it. And that's basically the only pasta we use. 90%, 95% of the pasta we use is that pasta. It's literally 3 times the price of DiCecco or Barilla. So that's the kind of quality it is. And they're like, Marcus, of course, come on, by. We would love to have you by. This and that. Let's set up a time. I was like, that's business, folks. And the other people were like, well, I'm like, no, I just want to come by and see what's going on. So I felt that loss of connection with Unibrew and just said, there's other breweries out there that'll totally. We took a tour to Oscar Blues when Oscar Blues was independent. I've done a couple tours at Oscar Blues when they were independent. Now they're owned by an investment bank or a group out of Boston. When Oscar Blues was independent, I went there for a tour. And we were with some friends. We took this amazing tour. I climbed up on the ladder. I was pouring in the grain. We had a fantastic time. We were drinking beer. It was great. At the end of our tour, we handed the guy a $100 tip. $100 tip. And the guy looked at us and he goes, Dale pays me, Dale's the owner of Oscar Blues, Dale pays me to show you a good time. And I was like, no, we're like, here, no, don't take this. No, you can. He's like, nope, Dale signs my paycheck and Dale pays me to show you guys a good time. Now that's a company right there. That's a truly well-run, independent company. Great standards, great training, great morale. For a line employee to turn down a $100 tip, that's insane, right? But that was what that independent company had instilled, and it was awesome. And then they've sold off, and we haven't really bought any Oscar Blues since that happened. Love their beer still making great beer, but for us, it's about buying from people that there's a face behind the organization, that there's somebody we can contact, we can call, we can network with. A lot of our stuff is not really considered well, but our house pour bourbon and rye. When I call the company, the owner answers, and I get to talk to the owner, and that means a lot to me. So it doesn't, at that point, price doesn't matter. It's now my job to be able to talk about the product and upsell or whatever. But it's our well. It's a great product. It's what we pour for our house. I can call and talk to the owner, and I see him at the food show at the tastings. It's amazing. So Chris is asking, any beer you have in the restaurant similar to Le Fin du Monde? So Le Fin du Monde is a triple. Yes, Chris. Le Fin du Monde is a triple style beer, tripel. We have some Trappist beers that are going to fit that bill. So Rochefort, I believe, makes one. Westmalle definitely makes one. Chimay White Label. If you see the Chimay White Label, that is definitely that. Allagash White.
Right,
Allagash White, not the wit, but the white. White is a triple. The wit's a wheat. The white. So anything that's that triple. Golden Monkey from the brewery in Philadelphia. Golden Monkey.
Now we have Get Bent from Chatham.
Chatham, which is a double. That's a double.
Yeah.
That's Belgium. It's double, not quite a triple. What's a Golden Monkey? Who's the Golden Monkey from? Whoever makes. We don't have Golden Monkey, but Golden Monkey is that.
Victory.
Victory makes Golden Monkey, and Golden Monkey makes that triple. Very bubblegummy. I'm not a fan of the Golden Monkey, which is why we don't have it. But a lot of people love Golden Monkey, and it's their introduction into that style of beer. But I agree, Chris. The Le Fin du Monde is an amazing. That was for years my favorite go-to beer. Le Fin du Monde from Unibrew, my favorite beer, hands down. Really they make awesome beers. I just wish they were more friendly and they had a rep here and we had that relationship. I just wish that. So that's why that's why I know why. So Omegang. I'm going to tell a story about Omegang. I'm not told this story much. I mentioned it the other day of why we don't buy Omegang. Now again, Simon, the CEO of Omegang Duvel, him and I were buddy. I would text message him, say I'm coming up, and this and that, and we were starting to do a business deal, and that's where things went south when we started doing the business deal. Excuse me, needed some water. That's when things went south when we started doing the business deal. So we were at a contest at a Muscle Tussle in Albany. I was competing against 5 other or 8 other. No, there were so many chefs in the room. I was competing against all these other chefs that were from Albany. The whole crowd was from Albany, and I put up this ice cream dish. It was a goji berry, raw cacao, 3 philosophers, ice cream. That when we made this cookie crumble tweel on it with like hemp seeds and cacao, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And Simon came over to me right at the beginning of that, and he goes, "I'm sticking near you tonight because you're the winner." He's not in charge of it because it's a voting contest. He goes, "I'm sticking near you because I want to be associated with winners." He goes, "Your ice cream is amazing. You got the best thing going on here tonight." And I'm like, "Great." I actually lost that by what, 1 vote?
One vote.
1 vote I lost by. They came to me, then they go, "You guys," they go, "you killed it tonight. You're not even from Albany. All the people are from Albany. Nobody knows who you are in this room. You killed it tonight. You lost by 1 vote." It turns out I didn't vote, and Kevin, who used to work for us, didn't vote. And I said, and when I found out that we could have voted and we didn't vote, I was like, "Oh man, okay, lesson learned. Ouch, that hurts." But here's what happened out of this. Simon says to me, he goes, "Marcus, I want this ice cream. I want to manufacture this ice cream. I want to take it to the cafe at Omegang. I want to sell it. I want to merchandise it. We can get this into Whole Foods. We can like do so many things with this." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, let's do this. Doesn't matter I lost the vote. This is a big win right here." So I spent about a year going to a couple local creameries, developing a recipe, because you have to make it in batch. I was making it in small batches at the restaurant. So I had to now make it in like literally like 25-gallon batches. We had to buy like kegs of this beer and make it. So I would test the recipe. And it's not that easy taking a recipe of ice cream from, making a gallon at a time to now making 25 gallons. But that's what I was working with. So I had to figure out the ratios, and I had to go, and it wasn't something I could just go back and forth every day. I was still running the restaurant. So, and once we got it figured out, we had to get the distribution figured out. And I actually got a distributor to actually carry this product and go with it and run with it. And there was a lot of legalities and a lot of things along the way that I was working on along the way. And I showed up with the prototype, the finished version, to Simon. Simon goes, "This is amazing, Marcus." He called the whole staff in. "This is great." After several trips there, bam, bam, bam. I said, "Here's distribution. Here's how it's set up. Here's all the work I did. It's all done." So we had nothing signed in paper, 0 signed in paper. My mistake. So I left. I didn't hear from him for a week, 2 weeks. So I messaged him, texted him, saying, "Simon, how's it going? This and that." And all of a sudden he's like, "Well, yeah, there's a little hold up in a contract we had with somebody else making Omegang foods. We're just working through something, right? Something like that." And then all of a sudden I messaged him 2 weeks later. Yeah, we're still working this and that. Meantime, before that, he was gung-ho, had all the plans. And it was in July, one of our musicians here, Brian Gordon, is at Omegang, and he texts me, "Marcus, I'm eating your ice cream at Omegang right now." And I'm like, "My ice cream at Omegang? Like, I haven't, like, this is the deal that 4 months ago, we were at the table and everything was there and ready to execute, and we didn't do anything." So I'm like, "You're eating my ice cream?" So he sends me a text message of the menu. And sure enough, it was a 3 philosophers, chocolate, fig, whatever ice cream, like what I was doing. So I had the picture, and I text Simon. I said, "Simon, what's my ice cream doing on the menu? We haven't spoken, we haven't spoken." And his answer to me was, "When the cafe first opened at Omegang, our chef was making this ice cream." I was like, "You crook, you thief." I was like, "Then why did you come after me for a year and say, let's do this. Why did you stand next to me in this muscle tussle in Albany and saying, this is the best thing you've ever had. This is amazing. This is awesome. Let's make this. When your chef was making it the year before?" I find that very odd. So I cut all ties with Omegang at that point. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I never really told that story in its entirety like I just did now. But that's why I don't buy Omegang beer. And then Simon ended up either getting fired or leaving. I'm not sure what happened. I think he works for PBR right now, past Blue Ribbon in their portfolio. Trying to make that more crafty is what I heard. So, but I mean, I would literally go to Omegang. Him and I are friends. I would text him. I mean, even before the ice cream deal went down, before we started the very first conversation of me doing it, Simon and I were tight. Like, I bought a lot of their beer, and he respected that. And again, he introduced me as Marcus. When I was at the brewery, he introduced me. But Marcus is the man who has more Omegang titles than Omegang has, knowing I had this whole library collection of beers. And when he was in the city or something, we would go meet and we'd hang out. We'd go out, we'd go out for beers or wherever we were, we'd hang out and we'd go out. It was great. We hung out with him all the time. But man, so I learned a lesson that you just can't trust. No matter how friendly you think you are with somebody, when business is business, business is business. And I learned a valuable lesson with that. And and I never really pursued anything. I could have contacted any brewery at that point and made a similar ice cream and gone forward, but I just didn't. And I guess I should have done something like that, but I didn't, because there was I think a big market for something like that. But the it was like three philosophers big ice cream. It was an awesome ice cream. So I've not made that ice cream in a long time because I haven't bought Omegang beer, but when I was still buying it, I was making the ice cream here at the restaurant. If anybody remembers that ice cream, that's what happened to that ice cream. That's what happened why we don't buy Omegang. So again, JB and I are very relationship to table. Like to know our producers, like to know who we're buying from, all that kind of stuff. So that's the cool part of our business is we want that relationship. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. A lot of people tuning in again. Tonight is Rare Beer Friday, the 13th, Rare Beer Friday. Buy a bottle of Omegang and get a cheese plate. Buy a bottle of Omegang and get a cheese plate, complimentary cheese plate. We have several vintages of Omegang that you can take advantage of. These are past vintages. It's Rare Beer Friday because these beers are not being made anymore. These vintages, obviously, these are vintage dated. All beers on Rare Beer Fridays are beers that are extinct, very ageable, very drinkable, very amazing beers. So stay tuned for this Beer Friday and other Rare Beer Fridays. Once a month, Rare Beer Friday. Last Rare Beer Friday, we sold a lot of stone beers, tons of stone verticals. So stay tuned for that. We are open as normal. A little bit of thing about the coronavirus. Of course, we're following CDC standards. We're getting updates from the health department, this and that. I don't want to say that we're doing anything different because we've always been very on top of sanitation here at the restaurant. We've always been on top of sanitation. I'm a huge stickler, especially to the front of the house staff, because in front we allow dogs in front, and in back we allow dogs. And my staff knows. This is outside, of course, outside our patio dining. We've always allowed dogs, and my staff knows you don't touch dogs. You don't touch your hair. You don't touch your face. You don't do. And we've always been so strict on that because it's so easy. It's so easy for staff to get caught up. Oh, look at the little puppy here, kid. They're touching a puppy. Folks, you love your dogs, and you'll let your dog lick your face in most cases, but when you go to a restaurant, you don't want to see your wait staff touching somebody else's dog. It's just the reality of it. And so, but you'll touch somebody else's dog, no problem. I'm like, yeah, nice dog. And that's just a natural instinct for us to love animals. And we just do that. And new staff members, when you tell them that, it's like, oh my gosh, you're right. So we've always been so strict on sanitation across everything, because we have a lot of people that come in with allergies, especially gluten-sensitive people, really bad celiac people. We have to segregate things, and we make sure things are wiped down. We make sure things are clean, and so we always take precautions like that. Whatever we're doing, we wipe things down properly, tables, all that kind of stuff. So we're not doing anything different. We're doing what we normally do, which we feel is adequate. Of course, we're following health. The health department is constantly communicating with restaurants now and things like that. And if staff feels sick, we've never really encouraged anybody to come in to work. And especially in times like this, no, you can't spread anything. Our staff is really good about that. They're like, I don't want to get anybody sick. And I'm like, I don't want you to get anybody sick either. Because if we're missing one person, imagine getting two people sick in the kitchen. We're missing two people. I can't handle missing two people in the kitchen. We have a small kitchen, small staff. So we've never been able to really handle people being sick because we wouldn't want them to get other people sick. So we've never really had a problem with that. So that's the story with coronavirus here. A lot of people tuning in today. I really appreciate all the support on our Facebook Lives lately. Fantastic support. So pop in for Rare Beer Night tonight. If, I don't know, anything else going on. Oh, our wine dinner next Friday. Our Southern Italian wine dinner. Retrace the steps that Jamie and I did last November. People are asking about our wine trip this November. The wine trip for this November is still on as of right now. We're doing a great tour in Southern Italy. We're doing the wines this week from Southern Italy. That's not next Friday night, the 20th. I've talked to several other tour operators, people who do this on a full-time basis, that have their hands in it. I've talked to all of our operators, our people in Italy, our ground people. I've spoken to everybody. Anybody who had a trip coming up in April, May, June, July right now are all rebooking their trips for November. Like November's fine. Our trip is scheduled for November. So they're all booking for November and said, Marcus, November, that's fine. However, if it doesn't happen in November, we will have another date after tax season next year to do the same exact trip. But as of right now, according to the hotels, according to our operators, according to the people on the ground in Italy, and according to what other people are saying about their trips, they're doing November's supposedly perfectly fine. So, but we'll see how that plays out. Well, hopefully that'll play out perfectly fine, and things will die down on this. And we are going to be open. We understand that people still want to go out to eat, so as long as we're allowed to be open, we will be open. Even if it's just Jamie and I working the business or whatever, and if it's slower than normal, we'll still be here. We had a lot of takeouts last night, lots and lots of takeouts. So if you want takeout food, that is very, very easy to do. Call ahead.
Anyway.
647-3000. Call ahead. That's super simple. And that's it, folks. That's it for now. Next Friday night is our Southern Italian wine dinner. It's also National Ravioli Day. So we put a ravioli dish in the mix in the wine dinner. We have some great Southern Italian wines like Fiano, Primitivo, some really cool Southern Italian wines that you may never have heard of. Like Fiano is a grape that not many people have heard of, but once they taste it, it's a white wine. Crisp minerality, amazing wine. It's one of my favorite wines. Primitivo, the original, and also known as the original Zinfandel. Nice, rich, robust wine. Primitivo. Prima meaning early. It's the earliest ripening grape. It's the earliest grape they pick in Italy because it's the very first prima, early, Primitivo. And we're doing a Chardonnay, a Southern Italian Chardonnay that is just dynamite from Cantele. Our friend Paolo Cantele, which is one of the vineyards we're going to. That wine's going to be in there. And we have another amazing Syrah Primitivo blend that we're doing for dessert that is just rich and it's an amazing wine. Amazing wine. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all the support. We're open. We're here. We got plenty of beer. We got plenty of awesome, healthy food. Remember, whatever you're eating, make sure you're honoring your immune system. You're honoring your body. Eat lots of good, healthy foods, lots of fresh food. Drink lots of water. Keep your immune system up. Avoid the fried foods. Avoid the white flour. Avoid the white sugar. Avoid all that kind of stuff. So, Chris is saying, do you explain the wines when you serve them? Yes, Chris. So at the wine dinner, I explain the food and I explain the wine. So I talk about the vineyard, I talk about the wine, I get in depth about that, talk about the flavors, all that kind of stuff. So yes, it's like 101. It's like a 101 class on wine. We talk about all that. You don't have to be a wine snob to enjoy our wine dinners, folks. It's a learning experience. It's more like a wine dinner 101. We talk about it, tell you what's going on, and really cool stuff. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'm going to get out of here and do another Facebook Live for another page I have. And for my business page, for all my restaurant, coaching business. And we'll talk to you later, folks.